Hi guys, welcome back to the course on Mastering Polite Conversations. This course is presented by me, Palak Sharma, your educator at Unacademy. Before we set off, there are a few things about me which you should know and you can have a read on the slide. And also, if you like this course or this lesson, then do rate, review, recommend, and share it. If you like it, give it a 5 star and write a good review so that we know your feedback, which is very important for us. And also recommend and share it on social media platforms as well as on every educational forum where you think it is important to be shared. Also, you can follow me on Unacademy if you like my courses. Here's my link, and this is me. So, we've already learned that how do you interrupt. Now, if you're having an enthusiastic or engaging conversation in English, it is almost guaranteed that you're going to be interrupted. So, in some cultures, interrupting is considered rude. So, you may be surprised that someone jumps in when it's your turn to talk. But as I shared that lesson on interrupting or interjecting ideas and sharing opinions, interrupting can, as I said, be an actual excellent way to create a connection in conversation. So, that said, a non native English speaker, as we all are, you may feel a little thrown off when someone interrupts you, even to show excitement that you have to say. So, it may take you a moment to collect your thoughts and continue what you were saying. So, do not worry, this lesson is going to help you. So, in this lesson, I'll say how to continue if you are interrupted, how to respond gracefully to enthusiastic interruptions, and how to handle impolite or aggressive interruptions. So, like in this session, what I'm going to do is how to continue if you are interrupted or distracted. That's going to be our sole aim for this course. So, if you are interrupted or otherwise distracted when you're talking in English, don't panic. This is a normal part of the give and take in natural English conversation, and it certainly doesn't mean that you weren't expressing yourself well. If someone interrupts you, that often means that they were listening carefully to what you have to say, and maybe it reminded them of something related. So usually the person who interrupted, he will recognize that they jumped in, they will apologize, and then they'll allow you to continue. Now here are some simple phrases which you can use to return to your original topic. You can say, as I was saying, so somebody, you were saying something, you were giving a speech on the president of India. So somebody interrupted you and said that no, he was the previous previous finance minister also. So you can say, if you are interrupted at that point of time and you have to again continue with the powers of the president, then you can say, as I was saying, the powers of president goes this way. So you can again express and come back to the point on which you were already before being interrupted. The next way is saying, getting back to what I was saying. This phrase, it's again used to come back to the point which you actually were emphasizing on. So in this case also, all you're going to do is express yourself, and if you are interrupted, then come back to the original topic and start explaining what you were doing already. Then again, you can use one more thing to express, and that was, as I was explaining. So it is again a way to say that you are explaining something, you were on some other topic, and now your action is interrupted, so you're going to say it again. And then the next one we can use is, where was I? Now you can say this if you need some help remembering what you were saying already. So you always listen this kind of thing, no? What was I saying? And then you remind someone that you were talking about the United Nations. So they come back to the topic again. In that case, you can use this phrase, and it'll be very easy for you to come back to the topic of conversation. The next one which you'll see is, as I was explaining, which I already told you about. And the other one was continuing where I left off. So if you're continuing where you left off already, you can use this phrase as it is and say that continuing where I left off, I will now talk about the powers of General Assembly. So that's again a way of saying that you are dropping off that interruption now and you're connecting back to the topic where you left. Now you'll notice that many of these phrases, which we've already seen here, they use the past continuous because that is the verb tense we use when an action is interrupted. So you can follow as I was with any number of conversation verbs, like as I was saying, as I was telling you, as I was explaining, as I was sharing, as I was describing. So when you use these phrases, you should be sure to keep your intonation very friendly, very expressive. Because if your voice is too flat, you will sound annoyed at the interruption. So if you'll say, as I was saying, this is going to happen again. Or instead, if you say, as I was saying, we were talking about United Nations. So that will make your intonation very friendly, and people will think that okay, you are fine with interruptions, they don't bother you much. Now, how to respond to enthusiastic interruptions and interjections. So if somebody has been interrupting you in order to ask for clarification or agree with you or to show some interest or some kind of or to mention that you've reminded them of something similar, it's a great news, because this means that the person is actually listening you carefully to what you have to say, and he's interrupting to establish a connection with you. This is important. Remember, the reason we want to have a better conversation in English is to build relationship with people. So you want to respond in a way now that will encourage this connection. So if you ignore the interruption that shows interest in what you're saying, you're missing an opportunity to connect. This is the reason why I recommend not being so focused on communicating your thoughts. Instead, think of ways to keep the conversation going. So we have some tips here. And if someone asks for a clarification, be sure to provide it. Try to repeat your idea in different words, because this will give you a chance to explain yourself again and be extra clear. Secondly, if someone agrees with what you are discussing, acknowledge their interruption. That's important. You acknowledge their interruption. Say, that's great, right? So true, I know, or other phrases that echo their sentiment. For example, if someone says that I thought last night's episode of a TV show, it was great. Now you can respond, I completely agree. As I was saying, it made me think of a movie I saw a few years ago. So you are acknowledging their interruption. The next is try to repeat your ideas. That is important. So try to repeat your idea in different words. This is again important because this gives you a chance to explain yourself again and again, which I already said. The next thing which I would say is if someone expresses or mentions a related topic, use one of the following expressions to put that topic on hold. Because if you are coming back, like you can say, let's come back to that now. Like, I want to hear more about that afterwards. So if it's a related topic but it's not the actual topic, you can put that person on hold by using certain phrases. Like you can say, we are definitely going to talk about that next. Sure thing, I want to talk about that too. So if you'll use this expression, it shows the other person that you hear them and you allow to finish what you were saying. So you can put those conversations on hold, and it's completely fine if you do that. So this was the way in which you can respond to some kind of interruptions, interjections politely while you're conversing. And do remember that it's very important that you acknowledge interruptions, because that will happen to like strengthen your connections with people, and that is what conversations takes place for. So that's it for today. Thank you, and do rate, review, recommend, and share this lesson as much as you can. Also share it on your social media and educational forums. That will help a lot of people out there. And that's it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.